to this model we just had. All right. So the point I was labouring in the previous video was just how what we can actually do is we can build up a room model and we can add some meaningful data. Then remember, this is all relative to you're doing a lighting analysis here, so it's so like if you've got like a window handle, or I don't know, there's like a blade of grass or something. Yeah, for a lighting calc that is irrelevant. It's the big obstructing data that makes a difference here. But we've got this room, and what I want to show you is it's still pretty simple model, but we can add more data into it. If you're a Revit user, go ahead, just make that Revit massing data, and just bring it straight in from Revit. If you do not want to use Revit, you can use now the native Dynamo tools to make to make some detail. So I am going to use if you're thinking like of a geometric shape. If you type it in here, you've probably about got it right. So what I've got here is cylinder by radius and height. Come on, there's got to be an easier one. Okay, it's this is not a Dynamo tutorial, so you're on your own in that respect. Point by coordinates. Point by coordinates. Right. What it's asking us here is what is the start point, what is the end point, and let's say it's I'm going to sort of simulate like a conifer tree or something like that. So 5 meters by 5 meters. Why are we not seeing it? I bet you. Actually, I'm going to put this wire frame. You don't wireframe and model outline. If I just turn that off. Oh, it's because I'm on manual, of course. Okay, so if I go, better save it. Oh yeah, there it is. So 0, 0 is the center of the room. You notice what I did there is see how I turned that off and I got the wireframe. Basically I just left clicked and wrote wireframe, and it kind of the data from this output goes there. I called it wireframe because it is a wireframe, but you can write whatever you want, like John is cool, and then if you just like, yep, it works all the same. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got that. So I just want to move that. So no, move it, idiot. I can just change the other points, can't I? All right. So let's just push it to the side. Push you. Will that make a wonky? It will. Okay, push you to the side and push you to the side. Okay, so now we've got that, and also I'm gonna let's just pretend that's a tree, and like I say, it doesn't from a lighting calc, it doesn't matter that you haven't quite got it right. Well, depending on the kind of calc you're doing, but generally it's going to be absolutely fine. And I'm going to say actually I want 2 trees, so I'm going to type in here translate. No, let me try again. Translate. There we go, and I want translate. Yeah, that one. Do you see how many translate options there are? I mean, what's the point of just confusing people with like a million translate options? Anyway, so if I say like minus, I want the next tree to be like 5 meters away from the last tree. Save, hit run. Right, now we've got 2 trees. So these are dynamo geometry. Obviously they you always it's basically that is like that's not going into Revit. The only thing that that's not going into Radiance. The only thing that's going into Radiance is this stuff here. So what we need to do is right click and add list. Yeah, create a list. And what I'm saying is into my list I want you, and I want oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here because I need to go back to CBDM tools, go to Radiance Extras, right, and go to make Radiance Geometry. Yeah, oh, it's move Radiance Geometry, make Radiance Geometry, right. So then I need to plug. Actually, I do need the list thing, right. What I need to do is the geometry after I moved it, the geometry before I moved it, because there's actually 2 sets of geometry. Basically, these are kind of like dynamo principles, and I need to attach the geometry. See, look, it's got it. I don't need to fill in that one if I don't want to, and I don't need to fill in that one if I don't want to. What you do need to do is give it a name. So trees. Um, you can do it two ways. You can go string. You could write like trees that way, or you can write it in the code block, but you must use these commas. It's start off with the string thing, but as you get used to Dynamo, you might as well just move over to using the code block Boolean. The thing I put here is you must yourself specify whether this is glass or this is opaque. Is the material glass or opaque? Yes for glass, no for opaque. So trees are not made of glass. What is the transmission? And again, I've sort of I have no idea what you could be making, so I've not put in like a default for that. But I'm going to say trees are not. Yeah, I mean, well, it depends what time of year, really, doesn't it? But okay, so all that's worked, and why has that not worked? Right, hang on a minute. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, who spotted what I did wrong there? I, check simple things first. You're probably all screaming at your screen, but I'd forgotten to hit run. That's why no data was coming out of it. I was about to do some kind of long-winded check, but yeah. So sorry for confusing you. Yeah. So you enter it all in, and when you click run, don't be stupid like me and forget to click it. Click run. It's made a radiance file called tree. Yeah, so we've got the radiance file, and we've actually got two separate radiance files. Yeah, we've got the radiance file here representing the house, and we've got the radiance file here representing the trees. You'd be thinking, oh John, why have you made it so weird? It is just it makes it easier for me to sort of debug and maintain, and it makes it just infinitely expandable. If you work like this, we can just keep growing, growing the size of your file, should you ever want to. So okay, so I needed to use this list thing to sort of group together these dynamo geometries to turn them into radiance. Now I have two radiance geometries, and what I need to do is use the same sort of native list thing. Sorry, that was select, Control C, Control V. Yeah, yeah. Just to show that again, you select it, Control C, Control V, and I want this radiance output and this radiance output to because I haven't. You see, I'm not used to working in manual mode. Oh God, if I was using a grasshopper. Yeah, so now, look, whereas this is just this on its own, now I have a list of two items. When I feed this into prep the radiance geometry, and I'm going to, for impacts, I'm going to turn the previews of these off. And my other monitor screen has started flashing wildly. I think I've got a graphics card failure. Right, but I'll be able to get to the end of this tutorial. So if we run that now, and there we go. So why are those? Yeah. So if I turn that off, right. So now we have a radiance file. That's a bit ugly, isn't it? Oh, it's really distracting. My monitor you can't see is just like flashing in the side of my face. It's like, I think it happens like, I don't know, every time I try and use like a CAD package, it does it. Yeah. So now we have added some geometry to that. So if you think about this, is if you can make it in Dynamo, or you can import it into Dynamo, you can turn it into radiance geometry and you can calculate it as a radiance file. Pretty cool, right? Right, on to the next video. Although my other monitor's switched off, so I can't actually figure out how to turn this off. Okay, this is awkward. Oh, how can I do this? Because I'm just going to like delete the recording. Monitor, come back to life. I'm I'm totally snookered here. Oh dear me. Change. I didn't know. What am I trying to do here? Oh, no, it's gone again. It just ripped. I'm gonna have to delete this video, aren't I?